What is going on, everybody? The 76ers go into Indiana, and they win themselves a ball game. And then now we're 2 games in to this big stretch, and they now have won both. They scored over 120 points. Not over. They did score 120. They gave up 96. It was a great game, especially in the second half. This team just exploded, and it was fantastic. So when you look at the Indiana Pacers and what they do, they stop good offenses. I mean, they don't normally allow a ton of points. This Sixers offense, back end of the game, was explosive and just dynamite, and I loved to see it. Now, Joel Embiid to start this game, a little sloppy. He didn't look right. He didn't look correct. Now, he finishes the day just shy of a triple-double. His stat line read, what was his stat line here? 22, 13, and 8, with 8 assists for a big man. I mean, obviously, with the dribble handoff and the way we run our offense, that's going to happen with Joel Embiid, but just shy of a triple-double. He had 3 blocks in there as well, and that's an off night. That's not looking great, not looking just right, really. I mean, that's what Joel Embiid can do on a day where he was questionable to go and looked not 100%, which is unbelievable. The storyline with this one, Jimmy Butler. Jimmy Butler was a monster today with the isolation ball and just scoring the basketball. He was it. He was the guy. He's the ring, not the ring beller. That doesn't even make sense. The bell ringer. My mind's all over the place. He should be the bell ringer tonight, as he was just explosive, making plays happen, having the spark, and it was just awesome to see Jimmy Buckets go out there and perform the way that he did today. See, it was funny with Ben Simmons because Ben started out slow. Now, listen, this whole team started out slow and a little bit but Ben Simmons, 0 points at half. We haven't seen anything like that in a while. Bang. He responds. Back end of the game, he ends up with 11, 8, and 8, and he was a key piece to this team. Everyone really was, with J.J. Redick scoring 20. The basketball team as a whole was just electric as they shot 53% from the field. You look at the 3 points tonight and 52% from 3-point, 18 threes total. The team was just moving the basketball well once again. You look at the assist to turnover ratio, 38 assists. You can look at that every night and see that when we are successful in winning basketball games, this team is moving the ball tremendously. Now, there's always a counter with that with me and the turnovers because they go hand in hand with each other, but 18 turnovers again. So we push. Brett Brown pushes, moving the ball and assists and assists and assists. That's going to come with turnovers, but, you know, I hate to see the turnover number that high. I really do, but 38 assists is truly remarkable. And the Sixers played great defensively. That can't go unnoticed. Guys like Victor Oladipo shot 6 of 20 from the field. Couldn't get any sort of mojo. Bogdanovich, he struggled as well. I believe 3 of 11 from the field, so he didn't get anything going. Thad Young for the other squad was their momentum with 27 points. And come on, now I know when you go up against your former squad, you have a little bit of a mentality that I'm going to show them, blah, blah, blah. But Thad Young dropping 27 points is kind of comedy to me. We'll move on from there. What I like about this win is it wasn't pretty, and it really wasn't outstanding early on, but this team came out in that second half and they did what they needed to do. Mike Muscala ended up hitting a couple big shots, and this basketball team in the third quarter, in the fourth quarter, scored 32 and 34. They played great defensively. They had steals that led to fast breaks, which led to nice buckets and momentum swings, and this team just played together and won themselves a basketball game on the road. That's one thing that I've always noticed with this team, and we've been criticizing them. They stink on the road, and I even broke down on my last podcast teams around the league and where they are on the road. So you look at the top 4 in the East, and this is what they do on the road. And the Sixers were definitely below 500, and it wasn't pretty. And you look at some other teams, and even though it wasn't an outstanding thing like their home record, it wasn't horrible either. And this Sixers team needs to work on that because that's something that will be effective down the stretch, especially in the playoffs. Now, I know this stretch isn't going to be easy. It's not going to be all wins. There's going to be some ups and downs, some things to take from it, some things, you know, hopefully you throw away in the trash can and never look at again. but all you can do is play the next opponent, and today was the Indiana Pacers, and I thought it was a special win. I really do. To drop 120 points on a team like that, that's awesome, because you can look at what they do statistically against good offenses and how they hold teams accountable, and they hold teams to under 100 points. We went out there and performed on a high level, and that's truly remarkable, and our stars showed up to play. Jimmy Butler's been a little bit of quiet. He had a lot of noise to talk about, you know, outside of the locker room and what he said to Brett Brown and all that. He went out there and he balled tonight, and he was a leader. He was a leader, big-time plays, I mean, isolation ball. I was happy with what I saw out of Jimmy Buckets. I needed something like that. And even Ben, because Ben showed, you know what, he faced adversity early in this game. He wasn't scoring. A couple shots didn't fall early. And when it mattered down the stretch, he came out there and did what he needed to do. T.J. McConnell doing his thing when he gets his minutes. We love T.J., right? But it's funny. He's added that little jump shot to his game. I feel confident when T.J. McConnell is running around the baseline and he pulls up just a couple feet shy of the basket and he drains that little jump shot. I actually have confidence in that kid that he will make that shot consistently. And that's just, it's funny from where we've started with T.J., right? He's a spark plug. He's a spark plug. And it's just awesome to see. Not much of Corey Brewer. That was a noticeable thing. How effective is he going to be off the bench for this team? He's an older guy. He's got a lot of miles on him. Speaking of miles, Wilson Chandler, at one point in the beginning of the game when it was sloppy for the Sixers, he was producing a tiny bit offensively with Jimmy Butler. And I thought to myself, if this keeps up, if Wilson Chandler is going to be the guy that has to continue this game moving forward offensively, we might be in some trouble, because Joel wasn't there. At one point he was 0-5 from 3, and his shooting percentage wasn't great, and it looked bad early. But the team found a way. They found a way. They moved the basketball well, and it was just a really great performance. It really was. And I'm proud. I'm proud of this team. You shoot the ball like that. You rebound like that. Talk about defensive rebounds. I mentioned this last game too. When you take a look at their defensive rebounds, they had 42 defensive rebounds, and they out-rebounded the hell out of the Pacers, and they ended up with 51 total. So the glass was important to them. If you win those 50-50 battles on the glass, you're going to put yourself in a great position to win a basketball game. And that's truly what I liked over the last couple games here is the mentality on grabbing rebounds, working hard, and executing. And I'm happy. I'm happy that this team put it together tonight. And let's try and just build this momentum forward. Build. There's going to be tough games coming up, and we all know it. Just continue to build. We all know the bench is going to be a problem, and I'm sure there's going to be a game where the bench affects an outcome on a game here, especially once we go up against better teams. See, one thing, everyone keeps ripping the Celtics. They don't look so great. But I'll tell you what. They find ways to beat these good teams. They beat Toronto again. Now, granted, it was at home, but they beat Toronto again. They lose to the Nets. They lose to these bad teams, the Magic, whatever, but they have the tendency to beat good teams in the East. So as bad as it's getting for the Celtics, you need to keep looking at them and say they're finding ways to win and beat good teams. So always keep that in mind, and let's see what this Sixers team can do against good teams moving forward, because this is the stretch. Everyone's talking about it. This is the stretch. So to recap this game, listen, it was a great win by the 76ers, 120 points on a team like this. You hold them to 96. I mean, defensively, we did our job. Offensively, we did our job. We're shooting fantastic from the floor, even from the three-point line. Our stars, when you take a look at what Joel Embiid tonight, even though it did get sloppy at one point, he finished the day off doing what he does. Jimmy Buckets was tremendous. Ben Simmons down the stretch in the fourth quarter was awesome. JJ putting up 20. It was electric. Moose hitting big-time threes. This team came together in the second half when the first half was a little sloppy and won themselves a basketball game. And that is a thing of beauty. It's a thing of beauty because they know it, and I've mentioned it. They know it, and the city knows it. It is 76ers time. It is time to focus on the Sixers 100%. And I'm pumped for it. And realistically, this is the best time for it. I think it's the best time for it so this team can really rise together as a crew and see what they're made of. and see what they are made of. I'm putting a lot of stock into this stretch. I know some people aren't. I know some people are. I'm one of the ones that I'm putting a lot of stress and a lot of attention on this stretch. Let me know what you think. It was a good game from your 76ers. Let's see how they continue to build off this and move forward with this big chunk of games that are very important. See you guys next time.